Loading snacks.
What it do, snackers, snack X's. It's your boy Gage. I'm here with Jokes and with Sin. And you are now tuned into another episode of Spoiler Boys!
Spoiler Boys!
That's right. Say it to the microphone. Crackle the sound waves, bruh.
Let them hear it.
You know what I'm saying? We are here to talk about episode 4 of Andor. So far, there's one Spoiler Boys in the bank for Andor. That is for the first 3 episodes because they did release all 3 episodes together. So while we did only spend about an hour kind of covering all 3 of those episodes, this will be about the same, maybe a little shorter, talking about episode 4. There's a lot of interesting things I think that happened in this episode. Gentlemen, asked for what is normally par for the course. Where are we on this episode? Where are we ranking it? Sin, I'll start with you.
I'm at a 7.
Okay.
I'm at a 7.
Jokes, you are nodding your head in what I'm gonna assume is agreement.
Yes, sir.
You're at a 7 as well. All right. Now, before I give my score, what has you at a 7, Jokes?
Coming off of the last episode, which we kind of got a little bit more action and things. Now, don't get me wrong. This episode was good. A lot of information that we really learned things from. I feel like this was the episode they kind of slowed things down because we needed to really get to know some more of the characters that were being involved with it. So I enjoyed the episode, but maybe that little bit of hint of action could have been in there. But other than that, I think with the info that we got from this episode, same thing, it's setting us up.
It was too slow for you.
The pacing was okay, but maybe just because it was tons and tons of dialogue. If you're not someone like one of us, we like to get the dialogue because we can process, we start picking things out. You may just be like, complete garbage. But definitely with some of the information that we got, it still was good enough to keep it at that 7 for it.
Sin?
Kind of on par with him. Like there was a lot of new information given. No action, but that wasn't a problem with me. But a lot of new information given. New characters had to take the time and go through and introduce everybody and all that kind of stuff. I completely get it. Pacing, it was kind of like how I felt about the first 2. It was a little bit slow for me. But with the information we've gotten from the first 3 to add into this one, like I gave the other ones, like a 6 or whatever, but this one, seeing where things are going and seeing the alliance kind of like you meet those characters and having all that come together, like definitely had me like more invested in this episode and just seeing where things are headed and going and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, 7.
You still seem slightly unsure about that. You seem like you might. I can't tell though if you are teetering on a 6, or if you're teetering on an 8.
No, it is a 7. I think my issue might be just with the characters as a whole. It's like I'm not seeing too much. I don't know if it's the right word for it. Just diversity as far as charisma between all the different characters they're introducing. Everybody just kind of just seem to be straightforward about their business type of deal. Like, it's just, we got to do this, we got to do that. I don't know, it's something about the characters and all their personalities seeming to be on the same level, kind of playing field as far as their attitude. I don't know, stuff like that, that's just giving me a, I don't know.
I think their attitudes where they're at right now with situations on both the rebel side and the imperial side seems to be in the right place right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I think I'm at an 8 on this episode. Okay. There's a lot going on. I like this. I like story elements, and I think it's important to slow it down. Like, to me, what's happening right now is giving us, here's exactly what it is we have to do. Here's why the stakes are high, right? And it's that really, really important setup to help give you an understanding of. Yeah, remember, this joint is a lot of episodes.
It does. It does.
How many episodes is it total?
It's like 12 episodes or something. Like, this ain't
okay.
Yeah, like there's
so this type is neat.
We've complained in the past about how like things just kind of go. Yeah, there's time to kind of build things up, in within what's happening. And I think this episode does a really good job of kind of giving you who the key players are, where they are in different places in the universe, how all the pieces happen to be on the same chessboard, but like, and how they're about to move. You know what I mean? Like, and why what everybody is doing is important. Again, I think really what they were doing more than anything with this episode was attempting to sell how high stakes and how important it is, what it is that they're doing. So when this episode kicks off, Cassian's with Luthen, they're in the ship, and there are a couple of things that happen that are very important on the ship, like right in the beginning, right? We saw the ship go into like faster than light, hyperdrive, FTL hyperdrive, which is like, that ship is way too tiny to even be able to do that. Like, that's not even supposed to be a thing, right? Which is important because Luthen has clearly been up to whatever he's been up to for quite some time, and his ability to move the way he moves and stay under the radar has to be tied to him having a ship that nobody would suspect can move like it does, could go to the places that it can go in the time frames that he can. So it makes it easier for him to lie, you know what I mean, and be like, nah, I was, like, he can't be gone. Like, he could be gone for 12 hours.
You think I would
made it? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's little stuff that like, you see him, going to the back of the ship, and he got this whole secret compartment with the fresh robes and the rings and the fresh hair and, whatever. And it's like, he an art dealer. And, there's just this whole thing of like intrigue and sneaking and being undercover and moving underground that I personally just really like. You know what I mean? Is these it's one of the things I like about Rogue One. These just kind of, these moving parts, these things that are happening behind the scenes, directly under the Empire's nose. Again, things that sold me from the trailer of being like, the Empire, they so fat, and so, they would just never even suspect that this could be happening under their own. You just walk onto their ship and take what you want, because they just don't think that it could possibly happen, or anybody would have the balls to do it. So you actually can just go do it, right? They so full of themselves. So, you're seeing like pieces of that, and you actually hear in the beginning, as Andor and Luthen are having their conversation, and he's really trying to convince Andor that, like, don't you want to do something more? You know what I mean? Aren't you ready for something bigger than just kind of stealing scraps and doing it really for nothing? I'll pay you $200,000, for what this job is. Because for real, Andor's like, man, I'm good. I'll take the drop me off, bro. Yeah. Only thing I agreed to do was save my own hide, homie. So, you know what I mean? And Lucan's like, I mean, you got a couple of options. I can drop you off, or you can kill me and try to take the ship. Try. You know what I mean? Luthen ain't scared of nobody, bro. Like, it's just something, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still under the impression that this dude was a Jedi somewhere at some point, right? And we're gonna see a little something that I think maybe speaks to that a little bit. But again, in their conversation, he's just like, again, small things that are kind of bigger to the overall picture. I can't think of the name of the battle or whatever, but Cassian talks about, I was from the age of 16. I was in battle for 2 years, you know, such and such, whatever. And Luther's like, you know, you was on the ground for 6 months and you was a cook.
Dog,
you know what I mean? He's like, you know, I'm only one of 50 people that survived. Yeah, dog, but you survived because you ran. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, but that battle that they're talking about is the same battle from Solo. Y'all saw Solo, right? Yeah, it's the same battle from Solo
when
they were fighting in when Han left and met Chewie. It's that same war.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, okay. They tried to do, you know what I mean? Like
now I gotta go rewatch Solo. Okay.
Yeah, it's there's stuff like that that's there that's like, oh, all right. So he ends up basically being like, all right, 200,000. What we doing? And then when he says like, oh, we're literally taking the entire payroll for a whole quarter for this sector of the empire.
What are we doing?
Oh, them's high stakes.
Oh, they about to get robbed. Hey, look, Chewie said that. I was like, oh, this show gonna turn into a heist. Okay, let's go.
Like I can bang with a good heist.
Yeah,
like we got some oceans out here.
Exactly. For this.
So now I'm like, all right, we're really doing something now. So immediately, kind of the way that this episode starts, I'm a little more bought in. You know what I mean? And they're selling me high stakes. And they're still giving me like, you know, they're dropping information. It's like, oh, that's from such and such. But also, you know, Luthen is someone. This dude has been moving and doing something for quite some time because he all in Cassian business.
All the way in. I know everything there is to know about you.
But like then he said, we went that compartment, that hidden compartment in the ship, and he's getting the character and getting all in his thing. I was like, hold up. Then you see him playing it out. I'm like, oh, this dude a beast. Like, whatever his thing is, like, he is bodying it right now.
And he also tells Caspian, like, I don't know everything about you, but I know enough to know what's, you know, this, that, and the third, right? So, but he clearly knows a lot more than Cassian thinks anybody knows. You know what I mean? Like, Cassian believes that he's been moving in a very clandestine way. Like, he's sneaky. You know, I could get in these little places. You know, don't nobody really know who I am. Somebody does. You know what I mean? Yes. And we don't really know why yet. You know what I mean? And we don't really know who Luthen actually is or why Luthen has that information. But I'm like, I'm sold. Like, I'm like, somebody got to tell me how this dude knows what he knows. You know what I mean? And why does he know what he knows? And why is it that specifically Cassian Andor is so significant to what it is he's trying to do? Right. Because for him to have that much information means that whether it's somewhere in the bloodline or it's the people that he was in with, be that Marva and Clem, who, you know, is, I'm assuming again, the father that was hanged, but is the name that Andor chooses to give himself when he's like, you need a name. You know, we named this show after this character. We could have named this show anything. Like, we could have named it whatever and had Cassian Andor in. Yeah. But you named the show Andor, which makes me feel like there's more to the name than even Cassian knows. Right? Whatever it is that his parents, in quotations, were up to when they found him, probably means that they were in it
way beforehand.
And maybe got out because of him or because they had him to protect or was young.
That may be the mission they were on in the beginning when they found him.
Exactly. But it's just, again, I'll repeat this. I'm at an 8 because within the first 7 minutes of this episode, I'm like, you just drop it. Okay. Oh, this one, you was with Han and them? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you was in that same battle? Like, it's just things are kind of happening that are like, all right. Oh, and this is what we about to get a heist joint? Like, they just kind of started hitting things for me that was like, okay, we might be doing something to see them land and him basically tell him, like, pick a name, this is it, this is who you are for the next however many days, we only got this long, I'm gonna go out here and meet with Vel, I believe her name is. So. I'm gonna go out here and meet with her, just stay in the ship, don't say nothing. And the fact that my man's whole ship is a droid.
Dog.
Hey, Cassian was sitting on that joint like, hey, outside. I don't think he can get back in this joint fast enough. I could be gone before he take 3 steps.
It was like, how can I help you?
He moved and looked the wrong way just a little bit. She was like, hey, what you think you doing?
Right, straight up. Something I can help you with, home.
I got all my eyes on you. Like, what you think it is?
Again, like, they talk about it a little bit, but Luthen clearly has some, like, prototype
AI
early build stuff that nobody else has. You know what I mean? So maybe he's been stealing and doing some of the same kind of stuff Andor's been doing, for some time. So they get to the planet and Luthen steps out, he's talking to Vel, and she is not having it at all.
She's upset.
She's like, right now? We got 3 days. You want me to take somebody now?
Somebody I don't know.
You ain't tell me?
I don't know, and I gotta throw him in the mix.
Just dropping him off right now. Yeah, like.
What am I supposed to tell them? Like, you tell them this was your idea.
And then you add on to the point that y'all gonna pay him. I talk about paying him, like, two in the ground. Like, bro, we sleeping on the ground eating mushrooms, dog. Like, really?
He getting paid, and then she's like, "You bringing in mercs? You know what I mean? Like, we doing this. We been building this operation for however long, and we out here being farmers and whatever, and you just bring this dude in here, like." And my man's like, you know as well as I do, we need people. Like, we need somebody. We need somebody who can do the job. He can fly. He can speak 3 languages. I'm pretty sure he was lying about that, but maybe he wasn't.
Hey, look, I said the same thing that, but I was like, hold on, what?
He did some more homework. He has something like, shoot, probably speaks English, bad English, maybe one other language, and a bad version of the
English and bad language.
He might speak Canary. You know what I mean?
That would make sense.
Yeah.
But again, but it does come off to me though. Like, he says to her, like, you wanted to lead. This is what it takes to lead. You have to go out here and do it. Like, you have to show that you can do it. Looking at them and the way they were talking, I think that's his daughter. I think that might be Luthen's daughter. I just got that impression. The way that he was talking to her,
I can see that.
They've been in it together. Whatever. Again, there's something about the history that's there that they established in that conversation. Just that one small conversation that says that there's obviously something that happened before, and this is something she wanted. Like,
right.
I'm tired of following whatever. I want to lead a joint. I'm trying to, and this is what you wanted, and he probably was against it. Probably, I'm gonna say, because that's his daughter or something like that. You know what I mean? And you wanted to do it. This is what it is.
You want to be a part of this resistance that we're putting together. This is high stakes, which means I gotta treat you like everybody else. Like, this is serious. Like, so you want to run this operation?
You want to be in charge? Be in charge. Go back and tell them this was your idea, this is your thing, and it was always part of the plan. I don't know, you figure it out. Like, just go do it. You know what I mean? And he's like, I'm right. And she's hot. But she's like, yeah, you're right. Clem, come out here. You know what I mean? So let's jump to the Empire real quick, because we walk into a regular weekly meeting check-in.
Yeah.
We having our daily business, weekly business. Where's everything? How are we sitting? My man ain't playing no games. He is all in people business. Yeah, that's cute and all, but what about the such and such on the such and such? All right, let's move on to the next one. You know what I mean? Don't even worry about it no more, Slim. I'll go ahead and reassign that to somebody else that can handle it, bro. Like, yeah, your man ain't playing no games. No games. Got up and was like, what is it we do? Shorty was quoting straight from the handbook. He was like, yeah, that's not what we do.
That's not what we do.
That's not what we do. That's not right at all. My man said, we are healthcare providers.
And I was like, oh wait, what?
No, he bodied that.
We here to stomp out the plagues, bruh. We're supposed to keep the galaxy healthy, and we got to stop out anything, whether it's from inside or outside. And at that point, I'm thinking that he's getting the impression that that first dude he talked to might be a mole or might be, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And then the one dude, Blevin, starts talking about what happened, and he's referring to the stuff on Ferrex and what happened with that whole fiasco.
So we knew that. I said that was coming. I was like, oh, the Empire's coming down here and owning this place now.
Straight up.
Ain't waste no time. Yeah, y'all out. Y'all out.
And she starts panicking. Shorty's like all in the joints, like digging, like, hold up. That's my Imperial
box.
Stole my black box. Yeah. Let's fast forward to my man being down on Ferrex and really having a moment. He wasn't on Ferrex, but he's asking about Ferrex. Got the three of them lined up like, I might say, but I ain't had nothing to do with it. Exactly, bruh.
You had contributed.
No more sitting and pretending, wasting Empire's time and resources reading reports. No, sir.
I forget the words he was using with him. The incompetence. He was going over with them.
Oh no, he was giving them the business.
Hey.
Even when they tried to say something, it's like,
oh wait, my man raised his hand like he in class. Really?
You know,
really?
Hey, y'all know who that is? Simon that raised his hand. Dude that was with Slim when they went to the planet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The one that came in all.
The one that was gassing them up. Yeah, that's what we gotta go do. Yeah.
That's the actor. That's the dude that played the commissioner in the Batman. Remember in the beginning of the jump when he's walking, he gets killed.
Before I keep forgetting.
He has the beard, and he's like when Batman comes in the first Batman that gets killed in Batman, and he's walking around, and Gordon brings Batman in, and he's hot. Like, you got him here?
Yeah.
That was him, same dude.
Oh, I gotta go rewatch that. But that's dope. Okay.
Yeah. It didn't dawn on me last week, but I knew I had seen him. But he had the whole like Scottish accent joint going on, and I don't know if that's what he really sounds like or not. Like I don't, But yeah, my man got carried, and then they just told my man like, yeah, you might well not even. Slim, you going home, dog. My man took the walker thing, bro.
Took him over to his mama.
Like
she
I'm thinking.
slapped the face out his mouth.
Hey, was that as satisfying for you?
It was satisfying. I was like,
he looked so pitiful in that moment.
Hey, that was the example of, you know what? You told Perry, like, listen, I'm leaving the crib. I'm going to do this. Ain't nothing you can say about what it is I'm going to do, and I'm going to be successful at it.
Hey, slap him and come get some chicken soup.
We clearly haven't seen the last of him.
Oh, no.
But he got a story to tell, bro. I don't know if he's adopted. His mother looked kind of brown to me, bro.
She did.
She opened the door and he was like, mother, and I was like,
oh. I was like, really? That's the
paler than the pale blue moon, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
that doesn't make sense, but okay. We'll get more into it eventually. I'm pretty sure. Okay.
When that door opened, though, her little brown self opened that joint and slapped his mouth.
Oh.
Why did she slap him? He got fired? Like, was he supposed to be bringing in like Empire money, or you got a good job and we work? I'm feeling like she brought him up from like kind of not necessarily the slums or whatever, but like something like that. Because even her like saying, like, she seemed to have like a bit of an accent when she said to the grandma across the street, like, "What are you looking at?"
What are you?
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
feel
I'm
like
thinking
there's something there.
I'm thinking it was shame. Like, you brought shame because you got fired from the Empire. Like, I
I
might
mean,
have been going
I
around
don't
telling
even think
people,
it's
like,
that.
hey, look, my baby's an officer. Yeah, he's coming up, yada, yada. And then you get fired and all that kind of stuff. And
I don't
now-
even think it's that. I think my man like left and said, you know what, I'm gonna go do what it is that I want to do. And maybe she warned, like, listen, I'm telling you, it's not gonna pan out the way that you think it is. Then he does get fired and come back. And that was that smack, like, I told you so. Now get in here and eat
Nah,
some.
I don't think you get smacked like that for that, bruh. That didn't look like an "I told you so" smack. That looked like Sensei, like a "you brought shame on this family," or "now how we gonna pay the rent?" Like,
Yeah.
that's what it was like.
Yeah, put it on.
You know how hard I work to make sure you could have a good education and get a job doing what you doing, and you blew the whole thing.
Even the
But
way she yelled at the
also-
lady across the street, like, mind
Yeah.
your business. Like,
But also that, like, you know, again, it speaks to his character and him feeling like he has something to prove. Maybe he don't come from where everybody else comes from. Maybe he does have that kind of a background. Maybe he's an orphan or whatever. It's kind of that, maybe that sort of feeling of like, maybe him and Andor are gonna have something in common. You know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that again, wherever his mother is from, I don't know if it's just his mother or if his father's there too, or, you know, whatever. But again, she don't appear to be his biological mother to me. That's where I'm at.
I completely agree. Yeah.
And Andor clearly wasn't living with his biological, you know what I'm saying, mother, and father. So I think that they might be building towards
Similar
some
that.
things being, just some things being synonymous between the two of them.
Similar, but they've taken different paths or whatever. So that's where the conflict comes from.
Yeah, like I get the feeling that like Luthen is kind of like Andor's person, and I feel like I can't think of her name, but the chick from the Empire who's like,
who's trying
that's
to?
my thing.
She's like, I know, like, I'm getting wind that there's a resistance out there. I know I'm right, but y'all won't
Yeah.
listen to me.
I think she's gonna talk to him. I think she's gonna make her own decision to go down there and talk to him, and she's kind of gonna be like his end,
Okay.
and she'll be kind of like his Luthen, maybe, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. Like, again, I think that they're maybe getting ready to try to start building some similarities between those characters, just off the small amount of information that you know we have from that. Let's go ahead and talk about that before we get into like the camp and all that, because I don't really think there's a whole lot. There is, but let's talk about as far as the camp. But you know, her interaction when she goes into my man's office and is like, "You denied my joint. Like, we have jurisdiction on this because you found something stolen in your jurisdiction that came from my jurisdiction. So I need them five." You know what I mean? And like, even when she first made the request, he was like, "Yeah, what? Maybe you should probably do that, because like it'll probably seem better coming from you, you know, or whatever." That, you know, and that made me feel like there was a history of like a relationship or something between her and the guy that she was asking. That's kind of what I was getting, just from the way when he was like, "Nah, it'd probably be better coming from you," and her resistance to asking when she's like the person in charge anyway, kind of seemed the same way to me. Like, she didn't want to do it because she didn't want to have to do, and then when she goes to talk to him, he don't even look at her. It's almost like,
I thought it was a woman thing. Like, I don't want to deal with it because I'm a woman in a position of power. I've dealt with this before, and probably I know him, and we've had this.
I know him.
Before.
Yeah, we got the same. I know him.
Yeah, he'll be more receptive if you ask than if I ask, and I don't feel like dealing with it right now. That's
No.
kind of the vibe I got.
No. Because to me, it was backwards. Like, the dude that she was trying to send to ask was telling her it's going to be more receptive coming from you than it is coming from me, right? Because and she's like, "Nah, I don't want to do it." You know what I mean, or whatever. Like,
either that or he's already stepped on toes.
There's clearly a history somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like the other guy probably already stepped on toes maybe it was something
Like
like
something like that,
similar,
yeah.
similar type of situation, and
He
tried
has a
to go
history.
for it. Mhm.
Maybe I get the feeling that there's a history between her and the
him.
dude she asked. That's what I'm reading, is that there's a history they haven't quite said, but like either they dated or maybe they were rivals in some other way. But like they also then do kind of make it like she comes from maybe outside of the normal pathway to becoming an Imperial officer. And you know the way she is because of the discussion that they end up having. So you know, when he denied, she was like, "Are you denying my joint the second time?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Straight up, bro. Like I ain't stuttering."
Mhm.
Hey, you know what I mean? Fine, I'm gonna go tell your boss. Like, all right.
Okay.
He drags him in the room, and she's like, I mean, it sounds like she has it together. You know what I mean? She's like, I have a chain of evidence that shows similar things that are happening. I think they're building a rebel alliance. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's like,
gosh, could they possibly be building a rebel alliance?
I'm gonna go with maybe.
No, they can't, because they're fat cats and they can't even believe that somebody would sneak into their own ship and spit in their food and steal their stuff right from under them because they too big.
This is the Empire. Nobody can do this shit to us.
And for what we've seen years later, they are still, the resistance is still here.
When this is all said and done, I feel like we should make a clip of like him having that conversation with her, like, ain't nobody gonna do this. A few years later.
Yeah.
Showing Luke blow up the Death Star for the first time.
Yeah, the first time. Yeah, like he shuts her down. Like, listen, we don't have time for speculation and whatever. When you can show me clearly that this is a thing, we move based on evidence and actual, you know, whatever. Like, so till you had that, don't waste my time with this. You know what I mean? And he's like, Slim got 6 jurisdictions. You have 2, and his reports are done, and yours ain't done yet. You running around messing around with all this extracurricular stuff, and your work ain't done. You know what I mean? And all his stuff is done. That's not how we move. You just got here from being an officer and whatever, right? Like, there's a reason why we're picking candidates like you and bringing people like you in. So get it together and show that we're doing the right thing by bringing in people like you. So again, she comes from something different. She's cut from some other sector or whatever. Like, it might even be, I wasn't honestly paying enough, I should have been, but I wasn't really paying enough attention to see that, like, maybe she came from the same place that dude just got fired from, that his mother just slapped him. Maybe she was one of them officers, is what I'm thinking. Is that she kind of came from that kind of a position and has proven herself, or was trying to prove herself. And that's what also is giving me that feeling that, like, she's maybe going to show up to talk to him because he's the one that broke protocol, did all those things or whatever to go get the information. And yes, he was wrong, but he was right. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like she, you know, if she comes from that same, you know, like, again, Slim's pressed. He put his own piping and like moved his little logo over, like changed his uniform. Like, I hate this dude, dog.
He's a sucker. He is straight up sucker.
I need him to get slapped like it.
One more time
before they kill him, because I need them to kill him.
But like, I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen.
Andor, one time, just one good one, yeah. Clean one.
Okay, all that kind of Empire rigmarole aside, one thing we didn't talk about before Andor got off the ship, before Luthen went to go talk to her, was that Luthen gave Andor Kyber crystal.
Yes, he did. I saw that and I'm like, ooh, that cave little thing that you had, it is.
I said it last week. I'm like, I think this dude might have been a Jedi. His walking stick looked like a lightsaber hilt to me.
So he removed
That joint got a little sword in it. That like whatever.
He removed the kyber crystal from it and just attached a sword to it and placed
or something, bro. Because the joint comes out just like it. You know what I mean? He put that joint away, he sucked that joint in, and tucked that joint just like a Jedi with a hilt, bro.
I'm actually okay if he turns out and pans out that he was an old Jedi or whatnot ever beforehand. I'm actually good with that.
I'm starting to rock with that, yeah. So far with the information we got.
I had a kyber crystal. Gave that joint
like it was nothing. Like here.
Nah, not like it was nothing.
No.
This is like your first piece of payment. Like this is like insurance.
Yeah, it was a mental chess game with him to try to get him on board with everything. Like, yo, you can try. I'm somebody you can look to trust. Like, here, take this, hold on to it. I expect it back, but if something happens, don't settle for no less than $50,000.
And my man straight up said, like, it's worth way more to me than what I'm telling you it's worth. This man was a Jedi, dog. This man was a Jedi.
That'd be interesting to have a
Jedi. Find out. Something. Yeah. And the alliance is already kind of in place again. We've already gotten reference to the separatists. Like Andor said it to him, like whatever you are, separatist, guerrilla, whatever. So we already made reference to Saw Gerrera. You know what I'm saying? Twice in this episode. Yeah. You know he's in the show. You know what I mean? Saw Gerrera, we got separatists, we got, rebel. Like, so again, this is ragtag all prior to A New Hope.
Just
you don't like the Empire. We get it when they're handling things. We can all come here together and fight back against the oppressors. Yeah, doesn't matter your walk of life. The little walk. I shouldn't say little walk. They was having a trek. Right? They was trekking around the hills. Why are we doing all of this, man? Because they out here patrolling. Because they don't have nothing better to do than patrol. My man, like, TIE fighters.
They look gorgeous.
Ooh. They sound so good, bruh. Them TIE fighters flew by sounding like.
Oh yeah, how it was quiet, and then right when they came above them,
bruh. There's something so special about Star Wars audio, bruh.
Yeah.
Lucasfilm, ILM audio, there's something so.
It makes you think of that old THX logo when it starts off real quiet and gets super loud.
Oh, bruh.
You gotta turn your TV down.
Yes.
And then they come back and start talking. You gotta turn your TV back.
Yes, jokes. Because the point when you see that logo, I'm like, oh, turn it down.
Oh, damn it. Hold up. Let me do it right quick.
About to go down.
And that's regular TV speakers, too. Like, you need surround sound. Like, them jokes killed your regular speakers.
Yeah. So, again, you get a little bit of that sense of danger. They on this long trek. They only going the route they're going because they already patrolling. This is supposed to be the safe route. They coming all the way around here. She's very like straight up with Slim. Like, look, bro, don't bring Slim up. Don't even talk about him. When we get there, this whole joint was my idea. Don't even just shut your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Just shut your mouth, bro. And as she's filling him in, like, what's going on and how much time they got, and you can see the second thoughts. It's like whizzing through my man's head. Like,
how many of us is there doing this?
He ain't saying that about a garrison.
A garrison?
Who ain't say that? All right.
Exactly. Who? I don't know who you talking
about. Yep.
Yes.
My man gets woken up with a gun to his face because he's sleeping on the job.
Sleeping on the job, dude. You dead.
Saw Gerrera would have put your head on a pike, bro, for fun, for laughsies. And then sees them coming, like, hold up,
Why is it two of them?
It makes me wonder where they thought she was going or what they thought she was going
just
to
going
do.
on this long age track. Like,
I'm going to be with our benefactor.
Or something.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think none of them know that she's even meeting with somebody else, that whatever else is involved anyway. But she's like, this is always the plan. Slim was always gonna be there. We need Clint. Like, he has to be there. You wasn't gonna tell me? They was upset. They wasn't banging with Slim at all, except for the one dude who basically reminds me of like Mouse from
100%. Yeah. He was my first thought that came in my head. I was like, yeah, that's who you are in this situation, bro.
Like, I trust him. I get a good feeling from him. You gonna die. He's not gonna make it.
No.
Yeah,
he's not gonna make it. It's already been foreshadowed because he got a good heart. You see the good heart there. He ain't gonna.
It's gonna be the emotional scene for everybody. Like, oh my gosh, he got shot. Yeah.
There's no way.
We're gonna rally forward in his name and finish the job. Yeah.
Nope. He's gonna make it. He's also the one who's like the smart one, the architect. He built the whole like display joint. It's not the scale, but it's whatever. Like, he knows all the details, everything. He's the smart one. Like, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, the fighting thing ain't really his thing, but all the other stuff is his thing. He has to die. He's the one. Everybody else could survive. He has to die. It's kind of how these things work. I guess their inside man, the Imperial Trooper, shows up on the speeder bike. God, them joints sound good. Yeah. Shows up on the speeder bike.
Back to the sound.
Yeah. Like, look, Shorty's in there cleaning his wound. Like, a blaster joint? Like, what exactly have you been into? All right, look, let me tell you what's going to happen. We're not using our pain medication on you, bro. We saving our joints. So, my bad for how this is going to feel.
You got to eat this.
About to feel
good. All right.
And they looking at my man like, and he injured? What can he do? Hey, son, he's a pilot and you need a pilot. It's always the Star Wars joint. You need a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Andor knows his stuff. He seems to be fitting in, in terms of what they actually need. And as they start to fill him in on, like, what exactly they're doing, how they have to do it, where they have to... My man's like, we escaping in that? Those was TIE fighters, bruh. We not getting...
They gonna catch us. And
we ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, they gonna catch us in XYZ amount of time. And it's like...
My man said minutes. He said 7. We timed it.
What are we doing?
Oh, really? You timed it. Okay. So, what are we supposed to do after that?
So it just so happens that every 3 years, this whole celestial thing happens and it be chaos in the sky and they're not going to be able to track it. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like where this is going. This is my Ocean's 11 right here. This is it. You know what I'm saying? Here's the bank. Here's the vault. This is where the money is. We going in. We're going to get the money. We're going to do it like this. So-and-so's doing this. So-and-so's doing this. We're going to get this. This is how we getting out. Like, everything is sad. I'm with it. I'm with it right now.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the episode, Slim, and we got to talk about Luthen and his other character and what happened there. But at the end of the episode, they hand my man a math book. Know this joint by morning.
Like,
get your wound clean, get something to eat, and you better know this by the morning.
Not even like Slim was like, you know how to work this? Yeah. Here's the plans of the facility. Here's the alphabet of the language you need to be able to speak.
I was like, what?
My man said, can I eat first? Like, can I eat though? And she was like, yeah. And then know that joint by morning. I got first watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't playing no games because it has to go right. It has to happen. Like, that's how
3 days.
They've been in. We got 3 days. It has to happen. This is how it's going down. So So listen, one, we have to talk about Mom Martha showing up, which is, again, we knew she was going to be in the show. I want to talk about a couple of things. I need to talk about how fly this young lady is. Shorty shows up in like the Bentley coupe.
I'm gonna say the caddy.
Blue Bentley
Yeah.
coupe.
Clean.
What? That fresh blue guy looks like she's showing up.
That galaxy blue.
What? Like she's stepping out for the red carpet, like.
Oh yeah, what TMZ at? Let's go.
Straight up.
No matter where I go.
DMZ is her driver, Slim.
Oh yeah, snitching.
They pulled up. The shorty was in the window like, new driver. You don't recognize him? Nah. All right. We might have to kill some. So just
we got this.
places everyone. You know. I like it, bruh.
And they was full on with it. They was full
The
on
minute
with
she
it.
walked in, my man was Marvel. It kind of almost reminded me, bruh, of Benicio del Toro being the collector. Kind of like this. Just kind of overall over the top with the fresh purple robe gear and the
wig actually fits that bill.
Hey Slim, that joint was James Brown fresh curl joint on the top with the gray.
Like I said, when he first put everything on and he was getting the character, I was like, oh, he about to body this. Whatever this is, I believe it. Like
he put some
I
rings
believe
on,
whatever he's
put
doing.
them rings on. He was all.
Yeah. Hey dog, like dog, the joint is like, and I really wasn't sure. Like initially I thought maybe he was some sort of a senator or something like that, but realizing like what he was doing, and like okay, they ain't like a museum, like he's like an antiquities dealer or something like that. You know, she shows up. Yeah, I understand it's your husband's birthday, and you know we gotta find something for him or whatever. And then like, you know, his assistant goes immediately to work. Like, why don't you let me show you? You know, we got some fresh coins. We got some new coins, and I guess I can look at your coins. You know what I mean? They going in back. As soon as they got where Slim couldn't see him, the whole act dropped.
What?
Why do you have a new driver? What's going on? Like he just you know.
How they got to the back was just smooth.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah. I'm gonna get some husband something that's not army related. Oh, I got something perfect for you back there. Come on, let's take a look. I was smooth.
Yeah, it's so ready. You know, you hear her really talking about having to, you know, play this role, trying to keep things low, but that like, you know, it's causing issues. And she's like, man, I can't just. It's hard for me to even move money. You know what I mean? Like the way I can't move money like I used to. They watching me everywhere, and that's when he brings up the new driver.
Man,
you know,
where my money at?
Yeah.
I got a resistance to take care of.
Hey, I need this bread. I'm paying like, this dude 200,000 credits out here. I need my money.
The rest of my people eating mushrooms and sleeping in the forest.
Right, exactly.
Come on.
Like you got my money, Smokey.
She mentions having like a new person that maybe is gonna be able to help her lose some of that stuff. Based on the timing, it makes me wonder whether or not that's Leia. It very easily could be.
She
Leia.
got money like that too, so it's like.
Well, yeah, or that it could be, or that it could be. Right, exactly. Yeah, well, which she is one of. You know what I mean? So the first thing I did think was Senator Organa, but it could be Leia, in some way, or it might be him and then Leia by proxy or something like that. This is 5 years before Rogue One, so she'd be young, but again, still, already, I'm thinking she'd be like. 5 years. I think they're 18 when A New Hope happens. They're like 18, so that would make her young. That would make her only like 13 now. So it might be a little too young for it to be her. So maybe it's like Senator Organa. I mean, it could be any number of people that they have, you know, from you know any past Star Wars joints, any of the other episodes. of like Clone Wars or something like that. It could be any of them, but the when she leaves and goes back home, and her first of all, bruh, her gear fly, bruh. Hey, Slim, down to the heels, her joint fly. Her gear is like, whoever did her costume design is like A1, A++, bruh. Oh, here's what I forgot to mention. When the Imperial dude that's helping the folks at the camp shows up, he starts telling them about, well, they only be flying that pad for like one more day or whatever because I got them working on something else. And he says there's an important Imperial scientist or something that's coming in. I think that's what's his name? That's the one that did the plans for the Death Star.
Death Star. I can't think of his name. The one
from the beginning of Rogue One.
Yeah.
That is the one who actually put in the hole in the Death Star for them to be able to.
Michael Madison's character or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mads Mikkelsen's character.
Yes.
Why can't I think of his name right now? But anyway, I think that might be him. I think it might be him that's showing up as the sign. Again, we're talking about 5 years prior to Rogue One, but they have to already be building the Death Star.
Death Star,
absolutely. Yeah.
So, and if you remember, like at the beginning of Rogue One, they come to track him down. Like, you supposed to be working on this joint, and it's taking too long, and blah blah blah, whatever. He could be a member of their resistance in some way already, because he's in hiding at the beginning of Rogue One. But yeah, she goes to see her husband, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we got the dinner party tonight." And she's like, "Dinner party? What dinner party?" Like, I told you about it. I put it on your Google Calendar. It's on your Google Calendar.
She was not.
So when the rest of the guests arrived, she
looked at that guest list.
That's right there. She starts going through the guest list, Slim. She was like, "All these people hate me. Why would you have these people come into this joint?" You know what they just did? They just shut down the trade routes to sunset. Now I can't think of the name of the joint, but this is what I know. You know, she ends up eventually being like the lead of the resistance. Like like right now she's like a secret lead of the resistance.
Yeah.
But she ends up having to actually declare herself as a lead of the resistance and getting like forced out of the Senate technically. And the trade routes that she mentioned that they just blocked off too, and she's like, all these people, how they supposed to eat, how they whatever. It's what happens to that joint that's what causes her to have to do that. So this is the beginnings of that happening. Yeah, like they really tying some things in this joint. And it's crazy, man. I want to see that dinner party so bad.
Oh man, the awkwardness.
Man, he said, "Don't even sit them next to me." He said, "No,
don't worry, you're
sitting on that end of the table. These the fun people. I'm sitting down here." Oof.
Like that was harsh. Like
you need to divorce him.
What? I need to see him get slapped in the burst in front of everybody.
He got to go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nah. Slim Mother need to show up and slap him.
Yeah, straight up. Straight up.
That's just I don't. Yeah. For an episode that has zero combat. Again, we're just coming down off a major. I just think this episode does a really, really good job of giving you, here's what's going on here, here's what's going on here, previously on, here's what happened with the people from last joint, here's what we have to do, here's why the stakes are high, we only have this much time, there's only 6 of us, you know what I mean? Like, just all of these little pieces of this puzzle that, again, are very much, we about to do the biggest heist in Star Wars history. Like, we about to and we have to get it right. There's no room for error. They could play this next 3 days out over the course of another 8 episodes.
Yeah.
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are either.
I think things are going to go very wrong. Somewhere along the lines very quickly, because things are unraveling in other places as these pieces are coming together. Right? With Shorty figuring out they stole this, it came from my joint, I need to know what it is. I have 3 other instances. Looks like they're building a pattern. Like, she's getting ready to start doing that research. Regardless of what Slim says, she about to go do them reports and then get right back to being too busy, being a busybody.
And I don't know. To me, it seems like what she has, it seems to me, it's looking like evidence here. And dude was like, I need proven stuff. Like, I'm like, you don't see
what she had. No. What she has is circumstantial evidence. It's circumstantial. It doesn't actually say that this has anything to do with this.
that on there. Gotcha.
Right? Now, maybe if she was to follow it and get it, she might be able to tie it together and show that it is all tied together. Right now, what she has is circumstantial. Right? We've had robberies at other joints that seems like there's a pattern of this happening. Right? But again, it's so minor or so minuscule. It's something over here, it's a little something over here, whatever. And it's like, that's not enough for us to stop all of what we have going on to look into that. It's the same thing as dude saying in the last couple episodes, like, dog, he literally told Slim, these 2 officers got what they deserve. Slim said to him, sir, 2 of our people were murdered. No, 2 of our people picked a fight and lost.
Yeah, he already knew.
That's what actually happened. Like, we not even really making it up. We're gonna say there was an accident, but the reality of it is they were somewhere they weren't supposed to be, doing something they weren't supposed to be doing, and then they picked a fight with somebody they couldn't beat, and they got their ass whooped. So, before we bring the Empire down here, taking over our stuff, because these dudes couldn't follow protocol. Now you so pressed to follow protocol for people who weren't following protocol. Just calm down and put the accident report on my joint, shorty. Same boat. This is him telling her, like, bro, I hear what you're saying. Here's the thing. He didn't tell her she was wrong. He didn't tell her not to follow up on it. He told her, you need to bring me more evidence to show that this is a thing. Because, by the way, he has 6 jurisdictions, you have 2, and all his paperwork is done. So do your paperwork. Then go play around with the other extra, extracurricular stuff that you think might be going on. By the way, your such and such reports were great because y'all brought in more people than whatever.
Yeah.
So he gave her a compliment after telling her you doing too much. And by doing too much, you're not getting your actual work done. These are the things you have to have done. That's something extra. I'm not saying you can't have something extra.
We need the main done. What you were assigned, get that done.
He literally said to them in the very beginning of the joke, like, we don't have time to be wasting Imperial money. Like, you got a job to do, and you need to do that job. You off trying to do something extra. Which, again, makes her sound to me just like Slim, which is why I think her and old Slapmouth going to end up
mentor.
Old extra piping on the uniform going to end up, Marvel team up. Yeah, man, I like this episode. I think it's important to establish everything, get it set up, and tell me how the heist is supposed to work. Just give me all the moving parts. And I'm expecting monkey wrenches next episode. You know what I mean? Like, all right, here's what we got to do. This is how it has to work. Blah, blah, blah. Monkey wrench. I'm expecting like 3 monkey wrenches in the next episode, something like that.
Believe that.
But again, I think that's why I'm at an 8. Like, I just think that like this isn't. Again, we have complaints about them rushing stuff. Like, they only give us 6 episodes, and 6 episodes seems like a lot when they like 45 minutes to an hour. You get much more than you would in a movie. You have like 12 episodes. Like,
time to take and flush out the stuff, and so you're not having to have these questions answered or not answered when it comes time for the end of it.
Take the time to make characters important. Take the time to establish who they are, what they are, why they are, because a lot of like what we complained about is stuff feeling rushed. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of Boba Fett is just super rushed. Even with what I like about Mandalorian, there are things that are like just kind of rushed. Like, y'all just slow down a little bit. There's a lot of moving parts to this. There's a ridiculous amount of moving parts to this, and that's one of the issues that I have with Star Wars as a whole. It's just that there's always so much. All these planets nobody ever heard of. I mean, maybe people heard of, but I'm just saying, like, all these different named planets, all these different named people, what's going on where. You know, you got 3 different rebel alliances of some sort. You got the Separatists, and you got the you know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's so much going on all the time that can be so confusing. Slow down. Give us a build up. Okay. I don't even need to know the name of the planet that he's on, but they gave us the name of the planet multiple times. Starts with an A. Aldani, I think, was the name of the planet that they're on.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Cool. Meanwhile, when they're giving their little reports in that big white room, they mentioning planets and stuff that come from. Oh, here's the other thing. Luthen's little collection. All right, there's a lot of stuff in that room.
Some Easter egg. There's some gems in there.
And straight up, my man has Starkiller's
armor in that joint.
In that joint, and I'm like, nah.
How are we making them canon? This is where we're doing this at.
You can't do that. You can't do that. Bro, you can't just do that. You can't, like.
They're doing that.
Excellent. All I need is a Force Unleashed remake, dog. Give me a whole
dog. I'm ready. You ain't gonna do 3. If there is no 3, I just take the remake. I will take the remake.
We would all take the remake.
That's one that I can still.
1 and 2 together. 1 and 2 together.
Yeah,
remake.
yeah.
Give me the whole joint. Hey, dog, they put Slim uniform as an antique, dog. Like, that joint is just in that joint to be sold, bruh.
How did he come? I would love the high.
Bruh, there's like Gungan shields in that joint. They was doing it in this joint. Hey, listen. Look, again, if you don't, again, like, I talk about this, like, I don't love Star Wars. I like Star Wars.
When they do
but it's
things.
But it's just like, there's so much about Star Wars that is so much, they're so MCU for me. That's like all these little things that they drop, these little eggs that, like, oh no, that means that's a thing. Oh, these came from such and such. Oh, those people are from what, like, those things, those pieces that they drop. Like, this dude's really the collector. Like, they just basically took the collector and made him a Jedi. An old Jedi.
Just imagine if by some chance Vader were to show up in this and go to him, it's like, oh, you one of them old Jedis that no one knew about.
And this man showed up with a Force sensitive kyber crystal and gave it to Slim to put around his neck.
Oh God, let Vader show up to find Andor. Where did you get this?
Put it in his pocket. That joint was blue, bruh.
Yes.
Where did you get this? You know what? Ignore him. I gotta go do something else that's more important than this little son bitch right now.
it's just like again, maybe it doesn't pan out, but it feels like they're really reaching to do something with this that is bigger than what it seems like on the surface, and like they're reaching to make again Andor's name something more important to the beginning and the start of the Resistance that it wasn't before, even if it's stuff that happened before him, you know, or whatever, right? Again, because that's not his name, that's Marva's name. So who were they before that? You know what I mean, or whatever. Where did they come from? What were they doing? Is Clem his father? Is his father the only other black dude I've seen? Is he related to Saw Gerrera? Is he? Again, it's just like they could do so much. Still sitting at an 8. Y'all still in the same places for y'all episode for this episode?
I'm still good with the 7. Still good with the 7.
I'm still, same here. Still with my 7.
Hey, Jokes, is that a 7 with a possible 10? Because you know how you like the
Nah.
I do that with some boy.
I did too, but nah. This is a
You
7.
didn't.
This is a 7.
Daredevil shows up in the next one. That joint's a 10.
Daredevil showed up in Star Wars.
Daredevil showed up in Star Wars. We got big problems.
But Deadpool could.
Break everything.
I mean, keep in mind that Star Wars is in the Marvel Universe. Marvel Comics does put out Star Wars comics. They on the universes. Technically,
I think I went through the wrong portal.
it's just a galaxy far, far away, bro. It's not like it can't actually be all the same universe.
Stephen Strange, you sent me to the wrong place. There's like
Exactly.
spaceships and all this over here right now.
Exactly, bro.
I don't think I'm supposed to be here.
All right. Listen. This has been your Spoiler Boys episode for the 4th episode of Andor on Disney Plus. We will be back next Monday to talk about episode 5. And we'll be talking about episode 8 of She-Hulk. So keep your eyes peeled for both of those and your ears as well. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us and tuning in. That we're out.
Loading snacks. Ow.